In today's video, we will show you what happens when a flight attendant doubts a black passenger's ticket. He freezes all airline funding within the hour. Welcome to our channel, your daily portal for the latest news. Join us in today's video as we explore this story in detail. A flight attendant is a critical member of the cabin crew responsible for ensuring the safety and comfort of passengers during a flight. They must be well trained in emergency procedures and have excellent communication skills. Flight attendants play an essential role in the overall success of an airline and contribute significantly to the travel experience of its passengers. The responsibilities of a flight attendant include ensuring the safety of passengers and crew by following all safety procedures and protocols, providing excellent customer service by being attentive, polite and helpful to passengers, serving food and beverages in accordance with airline standards, and ensuring the aircraft is clean and tidy at all times. Additionally, flight attendants must be able to handle difficult situations calmly and efficiently, such as dealing with unruly passengers or in-flight emergencies. They also play an important role in representing the airline positively and upholding its values and standards. Overall, flight attendants are an integral part of the airline industry, and their professionalism and dedication contribute significantly to the safety, comfort, and satisfaction of passengers worldwide. Now let's get started with today's video. A man who was certain he had done nothing wrong was stunned when a flight attendant froze his bank account and canceled his credit cards mid-flight. It was one of the most awkward situations that could happen to anyone, especially when everyone on the plane was staring at him. But why did the flight attendant do it? What did the man do wrong? Let's find out. He was traveling from Chicago to Las Vegas with a connecting flight in Denver. When he checked in online, he received his electronic ticket with a confirmation number and a barcode. But when he arrived at the airport, his anxiety started to rise because he realized that they had misplaced his suitcase. So he decided to wait until they located it before checking in with the agent. When they eventually found his bag, he went to check in only to be told that his flight was already full. He asked if he could still board the plane since he had a confirmed reservation and had even changed his flight online. The agent said that, unfortunately, since he hadn't checked in within the allotted time, they had given his seat to someone else and there was no space left for him on the plane. Since he had no other choice, he had to book a flight the next day, but when he got to the airport, chaos ensued. He was surprised to see that the flight was delayed and then overbooked. He thought that since he had a reservation, he would be fine. But he soon realized that he should have been more worried about the earlier flight because the new flight was now also full. When he asked the agent what options he had, she told him that since he hadn't checked in 24 hours before the flight, he wasn't on the list for an overbooked flight and he couldn't board. He tried explaining that he hadn't been able to make it to the airport because his luggage didn't arrive, but she wouldn't budge. He was so angry that he decided to take legal action against them. But before he could do anything, he was surprised when two burly men approached him and told him that they were from security and wanted to ask him a few questions. Confused, he followed them into a separate room where they told him that they were investigating a case of fraud and that he was a person of interest. He was shocked. He couldn't believe that someone would try to steal his identity. He tried explaining that he wasn't trying to board the flight and that he had reservations, but they didn't believe him. He was so frustrated. He felt like he was being targeted for no reason. He was taken to a small room where he sat down and waited for someone to explain what was going on. After what felt like an eternity, a woman in a suit entered the room and introduced herself as an agent. She told him that they suspected he had stolen someone else's identity and was trying to use their reservation to fly to Las Vegas. He was confused. He had no idea what she was talking about. He had made the reservation himself and had even changed the flight. But the agent didn't believe him. She told him that they had evidence that he had used a stolen credit card to make the reservation and that he was now being charged with fraud. He was taken to a separate room where he was strip searched and then placed in a holding cell. He couldn't believe what was happening. He had never been arrested before and didn't know what to expect. He spent several hours in the holding cell, pacing back and forth and trying to figure out how he was going to get out of this mess. As the hours passed, he started to panic. He had never been arrested before and didn't know what to expect. He tried calling his family, but the call was disconnected before he could explain what had happened. He was starting to feel hopeless when suddenly a lawyer entered the holding cell. He had hired a lawyer to help him fight the charges against him. The lawyer told him not to worry. Everything would be all right. The lawyer started questioning the agent about the evidence against him. But when he heard the evidence, he was shocked. The agent said that they had evidence that the man had used a stolen credit card to make the reservation. But when the lawyer asked for proof, the agent couldn't provide any. He was so frustrated. He had never been arrested before and didn't know what to expect. He tried calling his family, but the call was disconnected before he could explain what had happened. He was starting to feel hopeless when suddenly a lawyer entered the holding cell. He had hired a lawyer to help him fight the charges against him. The lawyer told him not to worry, everything would be all right. The lawyer started questioning the agent about the evidence against him, but when he heard the evidence, he was shocked. The agent said that they had evidence that the man had used a stolen credit card to make the reservation. But when the lawyer asked for proof, the agent couldn't provide any. His lawyer told him not to worry and that everything would be fine. The agent was so embarrassed that he had accused an innocent man of stealing someone's identity. He apologized profusely and offered to drop the charges. But the damage had already been done. He had spent several hours in jail and had to pay a hefty fee to be released. He was furious and vowed to never set foot in that airport again. Before leaving, he decided to get some money from an aunt to pay for his lawyer's services. But when he put in his card, he saw that all of his accounts had been frozen. He called his bank in a panic, but they told him that they had received a notification that his accounts had been frozen due to suspicious activity. He was shocked. He had never seen anything like this before. He tried to explain that he needed the money to pay for his lawyer, but the bank wouldn't budge. They told him that they would lift the freeze once the investigation was complete. He was desperate. He had no money and couldn't afford to pay for his lawyer's services. He tried calling his family, but they didn't answer. He was feeling helpless when suddenly he remembered that he had a friend who worked at the airport. He quickly dialed his friend's number and explained the situation. His friend was shocked and immediately offered to help. She told him to meet her at the employee entrance where she would give him the money he needed. He quickly made his way to the employee entrance where he met his friend. She handed him the money and told him to go pay for his lawyer's services. He thanked her profusely and rushed to his lawyer's office. He explained the situation to his lawyer and asked him to represent him in the case. The lawyer agreed and told him that he would do his best to get the charges dropped. As the days went by, the man started to lose hope. He had heard nothing from the bank or the police and was starting to think that he would never get his money back. Then one day, he received a call from the bank telling him that they had lifted the freeze on his accounts and that he could access his money. He was overjoyed. He quickly went to the ATM and withdrew the money he needed to pay for his lawyer's services. He was so grateful to his friend for helping him out when he needed it the most. He knew that without her help, he wouldn't have been able to pay for his lawyer and get the charges dropped. From that day on, he vowed to never forget his friend's kindness and always repay her back. That was the end of the story. If you liked this video, please subscribe to our channel for more updates. We appreciate your support and hope to see you again soon. Thank you for watching.